Hey, how's it going? This be the Couch Cougar, and this is part 2 of Blow Your Mind. Okay, I'm going to proceed from where I left off. Hopefully I remember where I finished up. I got a pretty good idea. It was about finding in the old King James Version here, 1967-68 published Holy Bible, King James Version, with the concordancy index, paintings, chronology of the Bible, explaining all the books, and more. Okay, so in the index I found, because I remember joining a website a few years back called World's Last Charts, and they're talking about the true Sabbaths, the lunar Sabbaths, lunar solar Sabbaths, and all that, right? So I became a member of that website. Yeah, I recalled it not so long ago. Okay, where was I? This is 8, the Sabbath, page 50. Went through the making of the Sabbath. A Sabbath of rest is one of God's greatest gifts to mankind. Most Christians agree that the observance of a Sabbath is an essential part of the worship of God. Much was involved in the making of the Sabbath. Who made the Sabbath? This is just a recall of a revision of what I'd previously done in the other video. Who made the Sabbath? It was Jesus Christ. Read John 1, 1-3, 10, 1, 4. Note, it is evident according to Hebrews 1, 1, 2 that God created the world through Christ. Since Christ was the active agent, he made the Sabbath. Okay, so there in that note where it says it is evident, okay, it's proven according to Hebrews 1, 1, 2 that God created the world through Christ. Okay, we could have a look at that verse to verify it through the ancient Aramaic. Let's put this one over here. Let's go try and remember what that verse was. Okay, so is that Hebrews? Hebrews. Okay, what was it? Hebrews 1, 1, 2. This is from the ancient Aramaic manuscripts translated into English by Victor N. Alexander, the Aramaic New Testament. Okay, Hebrews 1, 1, 2 on page 431 of that translation. Allah, that's the title of God, because God never had a name in any of the ancient languages and manuscripts, be it Aramaic or Hebrew, Assyrian, Aramaic, or Assyrian, or Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, or the Syriac. I'm not too sure about Koine Greek, which is supposed to be akin to those three languages. So when you translated it, it'd be pretty near, yeah, exact. Okay. Allah, and it's nothing to do with the Muslim Allah. Okay, they got it from the Syriac. Okay, they derived it from the Syrians. Allah, which goes right back to the Tammuz, Nabatean, the Tammuz, Sumerians. Allah, keeper of the net. Okay, or God of the net. You can look at Shaka, most of this video, R.I.P. Moors, or Rest in Peace Moors, part 2. And I think there's a guy called Jorgensen or something like that. He's a top Assyriologist of his day, and he verifies in his book about the Assyrians, history of the Assyrians, that that's where that word derived from. A-L-A, Allah, keeper of the net, or God of the net. Okay, okay, so Allah spoke to our ancestors in every way, shape and form through the prophets of old, and in these last days he spoke to us through his Son, to whom was consecrated the inheritance to everything, and by whom he created the universes. Okay. So as they may be the yeast of his Son's glory, and in the image of his existence, in that he may muster all of them by the power of his manifestation. And it was with that essence of his Trinity that he cleansed our sins. He who sits on the right of the supreme throne in the highest. Okay. So that's attesting to Jesus the Messiah, or Yeshua Mashiach, right? To be the creator of the heaven and earth. Okay. As it states in 1 John verse 1 to 2, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And all things were created for Him, through Him. All things that exist. So without Him, nothing would exist. Basically, that's what it's saying. Okay. According to Victor N. Alexander, John 1 verse 1, and those footnotes, Logos is actually incorrect. Just find it here for you. Yeah. Okay. Footnotes. The Aramaic New Testament, page 180. Footnotes 1:1. All instances, literal Aramaic word retained. Jesus the Christ, or Yeshua Mashiach, is the manifestation. Multa is an Aramaic word that has been set aside for only sacred use. Only the Messiah, Yeshua or Yeshua, is ever to be called the Multa. Grammatically, Multa means the essential connotation for a person or thing. There is no true English language equivalent for this word. Okay? So, Logos is wrong. He's saying somewhere else. Yeah, it's incorrect. Right, that's the Greek. Okay, in the Aramaic, ancient Aramaic, Galilean Aramaic, it was Multa. It's called the Multa. And he also says that with Genesis 1 verse 1, in the very beginning, as that beginning, right? He was with God, with Allah or God, in the beginning, right? So as that beginning, because he says he's the Aleph and the Dal, or in Greek the Aleph, was it Alpha and Omega, right? He created everything. That's in the very first verse from the Assyrian Aramaic, or Asherit Lishana Atika, the sacred scribal tongue, old tongue of the Old Testament prophets. Yeah, that's what he says. That's what it translates as, in the beginning, as that beginning. Okay, in the original Aramaic, or Asher. Okay. The manifestation, or the Multa, to find the word manifestation, it's something that's like was hidden, hasn't yet been revealed, was in the company of, in the presence of, in the midst of Allah the Father, right? Okay, so so that verifies there. Okay, with the Sabbath, He's the Lord of the Sabbath. He created everything, so He created the Sabbath. Okay, but what I want to get at, okay, with the modern versions of the Bible, let's put that one over there. These modern versions of the Bible, let's just say, for example, this NIV, New International Version, or any other that's out there, right, that you might have. It says a certain thing, right? Okay, in regards to the Sabbath. Okay, and Christ creating it, being the creator of all things, right? So you'd look at Genesis 1 verse 1, where it says, in the beginning God created heaven and the earth. Okay? And the earth was formless and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of God, was hovering over the waters, right? Okay, so there you assume that God the Father created the heaven or the heavens and the earth. Okay, but I just detailed to you in the original Old Testament scribal tongue, Assyrian Aramaic, or Asherit, right, the Lishana Atika, that's what it actually means, okay, in the English. Okay, okay, so yeah, so in a sense that proves, that makes it evident, right, that God created the world through Christ. Since Christ was the active agent, He made the Sabbath. Okay, and it's also verified in Hebrews 1 to 2. In the ancient Aramaic, you probably better find it in the modern versions, but it's not going to be the same. Okay, because it's in the Greek. It's a translation from the Greek into probably Latin, and then into English. Okay. Okay, so it's not from the original manuscripts. It's from, as Bart D. Ehrman always says on his videos, copies of a copy of a copy of the copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of a copy, not from the original manuscripts. Okay. What was this? Oh, when was the Sabbath made? When was the Sabbath made? At the time of creation. Read Genesis 2:1-3 and Exodus 28-11. Okay, so this is what I'm going to cover, because many people don't realise this. And many Christians follow the old precept that God made everything in 6 days and then had a rest on the 7th day. Okay, I can't show you this guy's website as I mentioned in the other video because it's down. He's in the hospital, he's got some problems, whatever, he's pretty old. Okay, and I don't have his copy of Genesis or Bereshit, which he's translated from the old scribal tongue, Lishana Atika, with the Syrian Aramaic, Asherit, into English, right? So I can't show you that as proof. You just have to take my word for it that I've seen it, I've read it, and there's no one else out there that I know of that's actually like covering it. Okay, what he said, Victor N. Alexander, right? So, yeah, okay, it's about lost it there. Yeah, because in that translation, he's translated it as, there's a word called Yuma, right? Y-U-M-A, I think, pretty sure that's how you spell it. Well, the Y is a double E, so I'm guessing, I don't think it'd be Yuma. It might be, I don't know, because I don't speak Asherit, right? I don't speak Assyrian Aramaic, right? So it's possibly Yuma, could be Uma, you know, something like that. Like you've got Esho, or Esho, Y-S-H-O, which is, the Y is a double E, so it's Esho, right? Okay. Yeah, so, you know, you go ask a Syrian, native Syrian, born Syrian, how do you say that, right? Yeah, anyway, that word translated Yuma, when translated into English, sorry, that word used in the ancient Aramaic, the Syrian Aramaic or Asherit, Yuma, when translated in English, it means immeasurable period. Okay, I actually discovered this claim years before. Someone else had written something online, and it said, you know, it's unfathomable, immeasurable period, right? So Victor Alexander's basically stated the same thing. It's a immeasurable period, an aeon, an era, an age, or a day with a capital D. Okay, so there was no time. You have to have a look at his video, which I'll put a link to down the bottom there, the story of Adam and Eve, and he actually explains it, that there was no time as we know it, you know. There was only an infinite time, okay, and space, immeasurable time, right, basically, as he translated, an immeasurable period where God created. Okay, so remember the old verse in the Bible, to God a day is like 1,000 years. Okay, so you could use that as an example, okay, of what he was talking about. Yeah, so, you know, the creator takes his time. It's like any creator, right? You know, whether you're creating some new art or painting or building or whatever, you take your time. You don't rush, right? Because, you know, if you rush, you might make mistakes. Not that God makes mistakes, but he's got all the time in the world, basically. Okay, all the time in the universe. There's no rush. So he takes his time. He might take 1,000 eons, right? 1,000 ages, 1,000 eras. Yeah? When you translate the word Yuma, and that's what it's defined. That's what it is in English. Well, there you go. Okay. So what I'm trying to get at there is, like, he takes his time. Okay, he doesn't do it in a day. You know, he doesn't wake up at 6 and finish at 6. You know what I mean? Okay, it does say there's evening and morning, the first day, but it's a day with a capital D. It's kind of weird. You have to go to this website. Okay, I'm going to move me over there so you can see it. Okay, you're going to have to go to this website, World's Last Chance. They're a breakaway from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Okay, and there's another one that broke away from them, and they got these this concept of the true Sabbath, right? And then the breakaway from them has got this concept of the Sabbath, saying that these guys are wrong, you know, a day out or something like that, you know. And basically these guys will verify what I've just said to you. Okay, I sort of can't remember what I said now, but yeah, you have to go to this website, and it's all there. All that information is there. Okay, about the Sabbath, the true Sabbath. Okay. Yeah. See, so you see a Saturday Sabbath or lunar Sabbath. Okay. Because what they'll tell you, if you find it, I don't want to point it out at the moment, but yeah, because it might take a while to find it. But trust me, I'm a member of the site, so you know, I've read it quite a bit. I haven't read it all, but I've read quite a lot of it. And they're basically saying that God, in His time, created the heaven and the earth, right? According to what I just told you, the Milter, the Messiah, created it all, right? Okay. And they'll tell you about a day with a capital D. It's basically the Creator's day according to the Creator's calendar. Okay, and the day is really weird. The Hebrew day that came later on is really weird. It's like I tried to explain this before and I got all befuddled. It's like you have 12 a.m. right? Yeah, tick tock, it goes to 12:01. To us, that's early morning, isn't it? Okay, but to them, it's like okay, yeah. Say it's 12, right? And tick tock, it goes to 12:01, right? To us, that's afternoon. Okay, that's our understanding of it. But to these Hebrews, apparently, originally in their day, when it went 12:01, that was like early evening, right, to about 3, and then it was like, yeah, don't quite understand. It's best to go to this website and check it out word for word, right? Okay, yeah, 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock it was like mid-evening, and from 6 o'clock till 9 it was like early evening or something like that, or evening, and then from 9 to 12 it was like late evening, right? Okay, that's really weird. And then it'll go to like 12 o'clock, yeah, and you go tick 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 12:01, right? And we'd say it was early morning. They would say something completely different. Yes, it's really weird. Yeah. Well, you have to go check it out now. I can't really. I don't want to get befuddle you or whatever, because yeah, I sort of got the feeling that I'm going to mess it up. But yeah, that's basically what it was like, right? And then they tell you that's the Creator's calendar. Then the Hebrew calendar was like that. You don't use the Gregorian or Julian or Gregorian given by the Romans. And then adopted by the Roman Catholic Church, to rely on your Sabbaths as Saturday or Sunday, because a lot of Christians say, well, the Lord rose on the Sunday, the first day of the week, so we worship Him on that day. That's our Sabbath, that sort of stuff. Okay, so these guys reveal it all to you. I'll do that later, okay? Because I don't want to digress, get too far in there and lose you altogether. Okay, so that's basically that. Okay, that's the point I wanted to get at. That, the Messiah, He created the heaven and the earth, so He's the Lord of the Sabbath. He created the Sabbath because He created it all, right? That's what it's saying here. Okay, and then He rested on the 7th day. So it's not literally telling you, literally that He rested on Sunday, because there was no calendar as we know it, right? No Julian, no Gregorian, whatever, right? No calendar system at all. And apparently the first calendar was put out by the Egyptians, as far as I've read. Okay, I just found this other book here called the Timetables of History, and it actually states that in there. See, I always pull up references, right? Because people say, oh no, you're full of rubbish. Okay, see if I can find it here. Where is it? Pretty sure it's here somewhere. It's talking about the calendar, Egyptian calendar. It should be here somewhere. I've highlighted it. Oh my goodness, where is it? Gotta be on this first page here. Oh, okay. This is Timetables of History. This book here. I think I've done a video on it. talking about it, by Werner Stein. Hang on, I'll read this here. The new third revision edition, the world famous reference that tells who did what when from 4500 BC to the present day, now updated for the 90s. Hopefully they've done an update for the 2000s. Right, okay, a horizontal linkage of people and events by Bernard Grun, based upon Werner Stein's culture file plan. Right, it took about 3 different people to translate it. Right, and most of them died, but somebody else carried on the work or something like that. It says in the introduction. So here in under science, science, sorry, repeat again. Under F, it's on page 3 of that book, Science, Technology and Growth, states here, the Egyptian calendar regulated by sun and moon, 360 days, 12 months of 30 days each. Okay. And a guy in a comment I made on one of my other YouTube channels, he said, yeah, you're correct on that one. But he believed in the 31 day, but I tried to explain to him, and according to World's Last Chance as well, the Hebrew month, sign of a new month was the first. Okay, that's a new moon day. It wasn't the 7th or anything like that. That's when you saw the new moon. Okay, they had 29 days. Okay, so you see a new moon. Okay, it signifies a new month, a fresh month, right? And you work 6 days. Okay, and then that day, the 7th day, okay, the 6th day was a preparation day. Like you did all your work, you talked all your politics or whatever, cooked all your food, set it aside, because when the sun went down, that was the Sabbath, okay, which is the 8th, okay, and you didn't do any of those things on that 7th day. You did it all on the preparation day, okay. So at sunset, right, that's when the Sabbath began, okay, and you spent the time in devotion to God, thanking Him for what He'd given you during the week, blessed you, whatever. There's none of this pillow talk or political talk or doing any work in the old times, right? Okay, so what I'm trying to basically get at again is that God did all His thing in the 7th aeon, age, era, okay, day, right, according to his time frame, understand? Okay, so He did it all in His time, and then after He rested, right, then He declares, it basically declares that that's when a week began. Okay, after he had finished everything, that's when the weeks began. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get your head around, but it sort of like came to me like, oh, boom, wow. Okay, he had a seven aeon era age period where he did all his stuff, right? And then man's made, okay, get this, Adam's made, Adam and Eve, right? And then that's when the week, the evening and the morning became the day as we know it, right? That time existed. Yeah, well, okay, didn't invent clocks and all that yet. Maybe to some states they looked at the moon and all that sort of stuff and worked it all out. Because what did He say in Genesis 1:4, I think it is? Have a look at that one. That on the 4th day or something, he with 4th era, age, eon, whatever, He created the sun and the moon. Look at that, eh? So I don't put you wrong. We can say, well, no, you're actually completely wrong there. Pretty sure, yeah. Genesis 1:14, and God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years, and let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." Okay, and it was so. God made 2 great lights, the greater light who govern the day, and the lesser light who govern the night. And He also made the stars, and so on and so on. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening and there was morning, the 4th day. Okay, that's what it says in your New International Version. Okay, from the Greek into the Latin into English, right? Your modern day versions. copies of copies of copies of a copy. Okay, it'll probably say something completely different in the translation of the Bereshit or Genesis by Victor N. Alexander. You can go have a look at his video on YouTube. The story of Adam and Eve, and he explains it to you. He uses the ancient, or uses Aramaic, right? He speaks the Aramaic, and then he explains it to you. Okay, exactly what I was saying, because I got it from his translation, right, from his website when it was up. Okay, and there's that video to verify that, that's what he said. That's the translator, right? When he translated it. Okay, so that got me thinking. Well, yeah, after that, that's he's pre-prepared these days, because obviously he knows what's coming, right? If he's God and he knows everything, he's omnipresent, whatever, right? He's pre-made these lights, or the sun and the moon, for this reason, right? Because when he has a big plan, so in his plan he's thinking, well, at some point I'm going to make a man and a woman. Okay, I'm going to make men and women, and they're going to populate this earth after I've done all this, right? And they'll multiply, have descendants and cover the whole earth, right? Because he knows all things, supposedly, right? According to the Bible, he knows all things, right? So he's got this big plan. Okay, so after they're all made, everything's made, and then man's wandering around with his woman, right? And then they multiply, right? And there's more. Then that's when those weeks start. It still doesn't have a calendar, right? There's no calendar detailed in there saying Monday, July, or Monday, January the 1st, and went down the road to the dairy and bought some milk. It doesn't say that. And then on Tuesday he went back to the dairy and got some more milk. Right? It's not saying that. Okay. So but it is dropping hints. And then when it gets further along, and it'll say something like on the Sunday. It's just an example. Okay, and take it literally. It could be there, right? I'm just going off the top of my head. That Noah on a Tuesday built the ark, and it took him so long, right? And then he finished it on a Friday, because it was a Sabbath or something, right? It's like that. But there's no like Julian or Gregorian calendar. They might have had their own calendar. I don't think it'd say Hebrew at the time, because there's none of them around. There's only like Noah, and his descendants, his wife and his sons, right, and their wives. So they had some sort of calendar system which was like based on the lunar solar, the sun and the moon, right? And the movement of the heavens, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so you got that so far. Okay, people, they're persistent, like they're doggone stubborn and think, well, it says in the Bible, in this modern version, in the NIV or whatever, that God made it in literal 7 days. But see, that's from the Greek to Latin to English. So of course you're going to see that in English and think, formulate an understanding, right? Oh, it says that in black and white, so that's how it is. It's set in stone, when you don't realise it's an Eastern language, right? Be it the Aramaic or the ancient Hebrew or the Koine Greek. Later on, but originally, it's in the Hebrew. Okay, then the Aramaic, or the Aramaic and the Hebrew, depends on which school of thought you come from. We argue over it. No, this one was first. This one's older, but they're both sister languages anyway. So up to a certain point. So that's basically what it's saying. Okay, I'm going to end this one here because I think that's enough on that subject. So hopefully you get the understanding of that one, right? And I will see you on the next one, because I think this needs further talking. Hopefully this is only about 15 minutes long and you haven't fallen asleep. Wake up. And you've learned something today. Okay, later.